Good evening, everybody. This is Johnny Seville, and this is your executive summary for stock setups for the going into the 1st of November. Now, of course, tomorrow will be a new open range. Now, this occurs as we, of course, go into what should be a very volatile month with Fed announcements as well as the election on the 8th of November. So things obviously heating up in terms of the election road to the White House with new scandal rumors in the Clinton email fiasco. Of course, the markets responded to that with a sharp sell-off last week, and that continues to look bearish in the S&P 500. So we'll look to see where the open range sets tomorrow. What's interesting, though, is if we go from the S&P 500 to look at the high-yield bonds, corporate high-yield bonds, which I've been pointing out in the executive summaries and trading room, you can see that was in an upward channel, and this is now broken down. It's broken 86.50 today, and we can see that now would indicate another drop, a further drop on the high yield bonds to 84.50, which doesn't bode well for the bullish side of the market. So we are still looking at a negative bias for the time being, but waiting to see what happens, obviously, with open range tomorrow and where the market takes us from there. In terms of key updates, really, we're still looking at FCAU. This had a great move again today, breaking through the overhead, just testing the overhead resistance here, you can see, but we're closed right at the top on 10.9 million shares, over 12.4 million shares on Friday. So we're just in that consolidation, waiting for the next break. And I bought the January $7 calls on Friday. Strath bought the $7 March calls on Friday, and volume is considering still looking interesting there as we look at a possible buyout maybe from a Chinese investor. So we're locked and loaded on that one. Also, for the bear side of the market, the UVXY is still looking very good. Of course, on UVXY we had alerted a re-entry point on this trade on October 27th at I think it was 14.55. As you can see, we've continued to move nicely. We'll go to the hourly chart to get a bit of a better idea for what's going on. So as you can see here on UVXY, we have, there we go, with this downward channel, consolidated, broke through this resistance point. Well, that was our first kind of consideration for a re-entry, was the breakthrough of that hourly moving average here. Pull back to the support around 13.78. I know some people got back in there. You can also see then it broke through that re-entry criteria we talked about on the 27th. It's continued to rally there, almost now to 16.59. So as we start to approach this level of resistance, we are going to be wanting to be considerate of a possible pullback area around 17, and as you can see, if we just look at the flag, like we see the flag breakout there, pull back, breakout there, you can see that's going to also bring us into a resistance area where consolidation or potential pullback would occur again around $17. So be on the lookout for that, and then a breakout above that level could be a further continuation of that trade. So, but UVXY looking really good, and that is obviously playing the bearish side to the market. Futures currently on the S&P 500 are up, but that hasn't often equated to much to the market open. So we'll see how what happens when the markets open tomorrow. But that's UVXY and FCAU, which are my two favorites that I'm in at the moment. In terms of what other comment, we also have been discussing the importance of gold breaking above the 161-day exponential moving average, and so we've been following that very closely. And as you can see, if we just bring it back to looking at that level now, you can see that gold is just still teetering on it right now. That pink line being that level at 1280, trying to get through, but hasn't been able to close above it yet. But it is looking good for gold, is looking bullish. Of course, the two plays within the resource sector that we like the most is Hecla Heckler Mining, and this is looking really great. We talked about this back in around October 12th, October 13th, that the speculative purchase would be to kind of go long around here, and that we're looking at a breakout. We've held the upper end of the channel now. I believe that if we break this trend line, Heckler's set to move up to at least $7, and that's looking really solid at the moment. And of course, the gold play, GOLD, Rand Gold, being our favorite in the gold sector. Again, if this were to break above its downward channel line here, we'd be looking for a rally up towards the $100 level and higher. This forming, of course, a possible bump and run or fallen angel play, one of our favorite momentums. So we'll be looking at both those stocks obviously tomorrow as well to break their respective resistance. Now, November is set to be an extremely exciting month with many catalysts around the corner. This is the perfect time to be armed with the best research and alerts at your fingertips. So give Acorn Wealth's Gold service a try. It's only $9 for an entire month. That's less than a coffee every day. And that'll give you an opportunity to get these video alerts every single day with written reports as well to go with them. Access to our coaching department whenever you need us, as well as live trading rooms on Tuesday and Thursday. You can check it all out at acornwealthcorp.com/gold. For $9, it is well worth the try and a trade that is well worth taking. Hope to see you soon. Take care.